This is huge. We are so excited to have Janet Planet and Sugar Bones from Confidence Man joining us for a chat. Guys, you're one half of Confidence Man. Thanks for joining us here.
Yeah, the better half.
The better half. Well,
The half with faces.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Sexier, but that's easy when they're covered up.
Yeah.
Band.
Yeah, we like to keep it that way.
Well, let's start from that point because for me, you've been around since 2016.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was it always the way that you two were up at the front, dancing around, having fun, party starters, and then the two guys at the back sort of cloaked? Was that from the beginning, or it evolved?
Yeah. Well, yeah, it kind of like evolved a bit for us. Like we started out in like gold, sparkly outfits.
Yeah.
And then slowly got more and more depressed. And then now we only wear black and white. But yeah, they've been covered up from the beginning. So.
And I read that was because there was a bit of other bands involved, so you're trying to keep a bit of separation between.
Yeah.
Hurt feelings, maybe?
Yeah, pretty much. Like they're both kind of recognizable people. We can't say who in the business.
It's not Malcolm
And,
Turnbull.
Oh, damn.
Or is it?
Yeah. Or DJ Albo. What's his name? He's Albo DJs a bit. Could be him.
Elbow. It's actually John Howard and Paul Keaton.
I've seen him DJing, John Howard. It was just a mask, but
Yeah.
Still counts.
it still counts. So they're kind of keeping their faces secret. Have you managed to keep their actual names from being exposed?
Well, there's been a whole lot of speculation, but like a lot of the guesses are actually wrong. So I
Right.
like that.
Yeah. It's sort of like no one really knows who it is. Like there's a few people out there, but yeah, they're dead now.
It's the masked singer in real life.
Yeah. You're onto a good idea before the show came
Yeah, I
out.
know. They should be paying us. Actually.
Man, that's deep. You better keep up, boy. You better not sleep. Oh, you want to learn about love? Okay, watch me.
So you started in Brisbane, and you were all housemates, and you're best friends as well. And then also I hear there's someone's dating. So you're all pretty tight. How does is that hard to manage and hard to juggle?
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
it's kind of like a four-way relationship, really.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, but we make them keep their hats on,
Yeah.
even in the bedroom.
Especially.
Yeah.
Are you guys dating, or who's dating? Can
No,
we
he's
know?
my brother.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
brothers and sisters. Wow.
Yeah.
Related.
Related, yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Older
Ollie,
brother.
why did you have to say they were dating?
Well,
That's so weird.
No,
now.
because
we're
someone
not
is dating. Someone is dating in the band, and I don't know.
No, my
Man,
brother
you're making
and
it
sister.
creepy.
Oh, I just.
We were dating.
I'm taken as well. So it's not like I'm trying to
Right.
angle for something here.
No.
But that's pretty intense. I mean, you've described being best friends and riding on tour together, so that's got to be a lot of fun. But is it hard to go like, oh, I'm getting a bit sick of you, or you guys just gel?
Yeah, I think like we're lucky that we do gel quite well, but
Like there
but
has been
yeah,
fights.
you do get sick of each other
Yeah.
sometimes.
Like we have probably had the biggest fight of our lives ever, like over socks in Dublin.
yeah, socks.
He ended up throwing the socks at my face.
Why
She
socks?
threw socks in my face
Yeah.
too.
Why
I'd like to say.
socks? What was wrong with the socks? I don't
Well,
want
we
to bring
both
anything up.
had the same pair of socks, and then it came out, and then there was only three.
And- Janet was really keen to do this shared load of washing, and I was like, no, it's a terrible idea. Like we're gonna mix the socks up, and like, it's just not a good idea. And she's like, it's fine. Like put it in.
Oh God.
I went and grabbed like my sock, what I thought were my socks, which I'm pretty sure I stand by us like my socks. I went and got them out and like just fold them up, put them back in my bag, and then like comes running in, and
Oh,
they're like,
Janet! He's getting too angry now.
It's getting too real.
Hey, they'll beep.
We know it's
They'll
real.
beep.
yeah.
It'll be beep.
Yeah, you can see him getting upset.
Janet runs in with his screaming about the socks. Where's my socks? Saying these are my socks. I said this would happen anyway. It just kind of escalated. I don't know how.
Oh
It ended up
Yeah.
just me and her just throwing
We've been
socks in each
together
other's
for too
faces.
long. It was like after like a 4-month tour or something. It was like
Right.
the last show or something. So
Aggressively throwing socks at each other.
yeah, no, it was pretty
Which is
serious.
actually quite comical. So it was like hard to like keep a straight face. It was like soft little like.
I just feel like
How
I
dare
just
you?
remember like yelling, just being like, my God.
Life on tour is intense.
Well, and we've had some other crazy things happen to us. Like we were doing a show in Norway in this like tiny little town, and like the drug dog went off at us because like apparently it smelled something in our TM's bag.
No
Yeah.
way. No,
And-
Tour managers never do that.
Yeah,
so-
no,
Stupid dog.
And then we all had like individual jail cells for like an hour.
Yeah, for once we first pulled into the airport. Once
Sorry,
we
my
don't-
alarm just
that's
went
all
off on my phone. I'm so
What
sorry.
was your alarm for?
My car parking has just run out, so
Oh no!
I'm gonna have to.
Sorry, where are you going?
I know you had an answer. I've got to move the car.
You're going to move the car.
It's gonna be $8 otherwise.
You're going to move the car.
$8.
I'll just pay $8. I'll pay $8.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Invoice hit over. You know.
Sorry. Is that unprofessional? I don't.
Just send me, yeah.
No, it's, I don't
Exactly
know.
what
I was
would
going to
do.
expire in about 2 minutes. So.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah.
Well, we better. Yeah,
We should remember to do that next time we're on stage. We should just have an alarm clock. Be like, sorry guys.
So, yeah, that's a great
That's
idea.
actually a good idea.
Let's wrap it up.
We're
I
gonna go.
thought you'd like organised a radio sting, and I thought, wow,
Oh.
this is really good. You've like put some effort in.
Bring in the
you set
dancers.
an alarm, and you were gonna go do like bring
No,
something in or
no,
something. But
sorry.
unfortunately, it was just a fizzle. Anyway, back to being in a jail cell.
Yeah,
And you got
so
interrogated.
yeah, it was like on the way out of the airport in like this sort of customs police kind of zone, and they were just like, basically like questioned us like, what do you do? And like, I sing and dance in a band. It's always like the worst answer to give those people.
Yeah.
Like, they never really believe
What do you
you,
do?
and
I'm
like,
an artist.
why were you in Russia for 2 days? And like, you know, we've
Yeah.
got these crazy stamps in our passport from touring. So like, you literally look like some kind of international drug smuggler.
Yeah.
But when you're trying to explain that my name's Sugar Bones and I dance in a
Yeah.
band, it doesn't
Tell me
help
you
the
said,
situation.
Don't you know I'm in a band? I mean, that is one of the singles.
I know I should just say that,
Yeah.
but you got to be polite in those situations.
Yeah,
so.
just get a soundbite button. You just play it.
Yeah.
Don't you know I'm in a band? Don't you know I'm
Well, your live shows, I want to discuss your live shows because that's what's really got attention for you guys. The music is fun, but the performances live seem to really capture people's attention. We were at one of the great shows we ever saw. A festival was Golden Plains 2017, which was a landmark set for you guys.
Pretty
Pretty
had
funny.
like 300 likes before that or something on Facebook.
Yeah,
and
like,
then it just
they like only had like
skyrocketed?
one song out and stuff. It was
Yeah.
pretty wild.
I remember, I mean, it was like 2 in the afternoon, so not a high pressure slot, kind of like just a casual afternoon, and people were milling about, probably having a coffee, really, let's be
Yeah.
honest.
Sure.
And the lovely sunny day, and the beat started, and people just start running down, because I don't know what that opening song was, but it was just like, this is sick. Everyone runs down, the set's amazing, you guys
What was that like on stage?
go nuts.
Oh, it was crazy. Like we were
kinda
super
confusing.
nervous because we'd like always wanted to go to Golden Plains and had never been, but like we knew it was just like a super cool, you know, hip kind of Melbourne festival.
Yeah.
We'd only just recently moved to Melbourne. We're like still trying to be cool. And so at the moment we started, like it seemed so everyone was so relaxed, and the moment everyone jumped up, sort of a few minutes later, we were just really sort of pumped up from that. It was
And
crazy.
could you literally see people running down the hill towards you?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
crazy.
Yeah.
It was next level. And afterwards, we went back to the campsite, and we were all like, man, how good was that set? And
Yeah.
I said to Tom, man, how good was that?
And I look, I have to admit, I was at the campsite, and I am going to admit to you here, this is all true.
He was so
It is like
annoyed.
one of the biggest regrets of my life because it's something that everybody else has. Like it's like a thing.
a
They're like,
shared memory.
were
Little
you at the
memento.
Confidence Men set
Yeah.
at Golden Plains? And I was like, I was at the campsite.
You're getting a burger.
But it was one of those things where I had to go and see you guys. Instantly bought tickets online, and all those dates for those shows afterwards. You kept adding shows,
Yeah.
kept selling out, and what an amazing like little kind of spike for you guys at the
Yeah.
start.
Yeah, it was absolutely crazy. Yeah, and it's always just a bit scary when you're somewhere that's like a place, like a cool place, like you know, like Melbourne's sort of known for that.
Yeah. It's a
you
special
wanna-
festival, isn't it? The way it rolls
Yeah.
out. And
Well, we played it like 2 years later.
Headlining.
And well, we played at like 11 o'clock
Yeah.
at night, and that was like high pressure. And I was like,
Yeah.
it needs to be like as good. And then like I walked out, and I was like, oh, actually, like the stage is like isn't as big as I remember.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh wait, that's because we were like done like Glastonbury.
It's like primary school.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
when you go back to your primary school. It's like, this is a tiny space.
I was like, oh, like this is gonna be the best show ever. And I was like, oh wait, it's better. It was better back then.
And then
My
her
mind.
alarm went off, and she had to go to pay
Yeah,
parking. ticket.
yeah.
It's all over.
All right, everyone. Let's see it's the right way. Let's get down to the fucking ground.
How do they compare once you've conquered it from low expectations to headline?
Well, I think just the low expectations, like,
Yeah.
but like in my mind, that was still just the best like sex. It was just such a shock because
Yeah.
I think that was also like without all like the extra additions of stuff that we'd added into the set over years. It was just kind of like our raw, stripped back set.
Yeah.
So I think maybe that was why it was better.
Yeah, and like definitely those moments where it is kind of a surprise and like a shock like that is like something extra special.
Because we didn't think anyone would like us, kind of. So I think that was the
Well, you
original
were a
like,
joke
oh.
band, weren't you? You kind of
Yeah,
described
kind of
yourselves
not,
as
like,
doing a bit of
We
fun.
were just
Yeah.
doing what we wanted to see, and then we were kind of like, wow, like everyone likes us now.
Yeah,
that was really nice.
There was
And you even
zero-
talk about like stuffing up on stage and things. Like in the early days, you were just like, yeah, we kind of didn't really know what we were doing, and so you.
Oh, we still do that. Like,
it's still a
when
regular.
Sugar Bones fell off a 6-meter high festival stage in London the other day.
Man, that's sick.
He like climbed up and had like all blood going down his back.
Yeah,
and-
it was on the last time we were over in the UK.
Mighty Hoopla
and,
Festival,
like
like,
touring, yeah,
big
and
gay
it's like
festival.
massive, amazing, like big gay festival over there, and it was like the very first show of the run, and like I just sort of slipped off with the champagne, and like, and the whole,
Did you
like the
fall
whole
in
crowd was just
deliberately?
kind of like ooh, and then like I was like down there, just like I've got to get up.
Gay men just grabbing at you. Just trying to get him.
Finally got up, and like the whole crowd sort of like got back.
No, but
into
see,
it,
the funniest thing about it was like I could tell something had gone wrong, but like I was like too busy like doing my own thing. And then like, I look over and I see the crowd isn't looking at me, and I was like, why aren't they looking at me? Like, this is ridiculous.
I've got a
And-
light up bra on.
Yeah,
Guys,
yeah. I was
look
like,
at
I was
me.
like, come on, like you guys should understand this, everyone. And then Sugar Bones is like I see him like crawling up the side of the stage with like a huge gash in his back, but he still has sunglasses on and he's bottle of champagne.
Yeah, somehow,
The
somehow
crowd was very
managed
happy.
to-
Well, the live shows to me are intriguing, and the mystique around you guys starts with the guys at the back in cloaks, Clarence and Reggie. But for me as well, there's the added weirdness that you guys are having fun on stage, and you're doing these dances that are choreographed, but you don't smile. You're very serious. So
deadpan.
Is that what is that about? Just keeping a part of yourself to yourself, or is it just a bit of fun?
I don't know. I'm just really good at it now. it's like it's become a habit now. Like initially, it was probably really hard to dance and like not smile, but
yeah.
Yeah,
no,
it's-
it's easy now.
Give us
weirdly-
a little taste down the camera.
Yeah. That's
Yeah,
how I
it's
do it.
really good
That's it.
It's weirdly
cool.
normal now, but yeah, I find it just works really good because it kind of throws everyone off a little bit.
it
Like
does.
it's like a little bit scary kind
Yeah.
of thing, like someone glaring at you while they're like doing something ridiculous.
But I think also like because we were at like the happiest music and stuff, we kind of needed some kind of dark element. Otherwise, it was just going to be like unedible.
A bit,
Inedible.
Yeah,
a
yeah,
bit too
inedible,
sweet,
totally.
too saccharine.
The
Yeah.
donut's just a little too sweet.
Yeah, exactly.
Fashion is also a part of your show and the dress ups and stuff. Tom just mentioned the laser bra, which is pretty epic.
Oh my god, it's
Yeah.
wild.
And you had some epaulettes, shoulder pads
Yeah, shoulder
Yeah.
pads.
that were also in
Yeah.
the same vein. Your mum made that bra?
No, well, she
No?
makes all the other costumes. I had this like
Okay.
helped this Melbourne guy make those actually, but
Yeah,
that was like
okay.
a 6-month process, and by the end of it, I was like, I'm sick of these things.
Don't like it.
No, I like them now.
Okay,
Process
cool.
to
Now,
ma- to
now I'm
make them
over
in
it.
6 months?
Oh, it took
Yeah.
so long.
really?
Yeah.
It's like a full custom job. This guy's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Leon, if you're out there. Yeah, but it was just it's not your regular kind of request.
Yeah.
laser
yeah. I
boobs.
don't even like. It took me ages to figure out how to find someone to make them, and then they had to actually make them. Yeah,
They're an amazing
serious.
feature on stage.
Yeah.
And they
Yeah.
literally lighten up the room.
But I've been doing a bit of sewing myself, and so I love the idea of your mum making all your costumes. And is it true she's going to come on tour with you soon?
One day, I think there's a few
That's the
people
plan.
in line now. Like
Yeah.
Reggie's girlfriend might have a.
I think she's first up
Yeah.
on the.
Is there only one spot in the car?
Yeah, I
What
don't
could-
know.
what could you
Depends
make
how
for the
rich we
guys?
get.
What could you make, Ollie?
whatever
Also,
you
he doesn't want mum to come on tour because
Well,
he wants to be able to party and hook up with chicks.
I could
No,
make
your mum loves to party. What are you talking about? She's like my main party girl. She parties better than you.
Well, you kind of dress Sugar sometimes, don't you? And you kind of design what he wears.
I design on most of his clothes, but like there's been a few times when I've like been like, all right, here's your outfit, and he's like, I'm not wearing this, and then I've been like, I've spent so much money on this, you will wear this.
Was there a lot of money spent on
always
the
wins.
Splendor in the Grass outfit where you were just in your black underwear?
Yeah, they were that's like Gucci underwear, right?
Other
that-
times, yeah.
That was pretty cheap and easy.
Yeah.
There's a couple that are like pretty easy, but
But that was back in the day though. That was before we got the high production.
Yeah.
laser boobs.
Before we turned profesh, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, but how fun to look back on videos of yourself and see that at one point in your life, your job was to be on stage, black underwear, just doing
Yeah.
this in front of heaps of 21-year-olds.
Yeah, not much has really changed. Right.
Hey, let's talk about how the hell you became friends with U2. What's this about?
Do you wanna
It's a long
kick this
story.
one off?
Story, right?
It's a
But-
long
feel
story.
like you're better
I'll tell you
condensing
the
this.
Reader's Digest
Yeah.
version.
Yeah, great.
So we were in Italy. No, really got it wrong. We were in Dublin, and then like this guy, crazy old guy, like saw us, and then we were like in Dublin a second time, and then this like guy burst into our green room. He's like, "Hey, like I'm U2's producer." Blah blah blah. Like, love the set. No, I got you guys booked on this festival, and I was like,
like,
as
oh,
if
yeah.
like everyone
Cool.
says that they're
Yeah.
U2's producer, like as if.
Yeah,
It's
like, we've
kinda-
heard
it's
that
kinda like-
6 times
it's kinda
already.
like calmed him up a bit and was like, yeah, like whatever, like here's my email, but it's never gonna happen. And then we get this email from this like big American band being like, hey, we were hanging out with Bono like yesterday, and he wants us to like collaborate, like blah blah. Who's showing us all your songs, and we were like, oh, like maybe he actually was U2's producer, like that's weird. And then I get this like, email from this text from this guy, and it's like, hey Janet, like it's Edge here, like we're playing in Melbourne soon. Do you want to come to our gig and we can hang out and like party together?
Oh my god!
And I just remember like screenshotting the message and being like, hey, hey Janet, like this is Edge, like blah blah.
Yeah,
So
we
then-
were just like in the studio, and like all of a sudden, Janet's just like, kind of thing. It was like, just the Edge just texted me.
And then you're on Instagram posting with Bono having a bloody espresso martini.
Yeah. And so we like went to like an after party with them where it was just like them and us. And then what happened after that?
and
Then
like,
they came
we-
in for dinner the
We
next
sort of
day.
hit it off really well because they're like just really lovely people.
Yeah.
Just into
And,
music as
and
well.
yeah, just sort of like really like pure and like you know you just never really know what you're gonna get with
Yeah.
some people like that big kind of.
It's a weird clash, though, isn't it? Your music and their music. Like, you wouldn't assume that those two styles would just be like getting along and chatting about music.
Yeah.
But
Totally.
you were in guitar bands at one point as well.
I think they're just into like all kinds of music. Like when I was talking to him about it, he knew so many Australian bands and was like really kind of knew what was cool.
Yeah.
So I think he's just like a bit of an innovator
Yeah.
really and
And
just
then
into stuff.
Even scarier than U2 was like Noel Gallagher was supporting. So and especially like Reggie and I, especially like back in the day when we were younger,
Love
like
Oasis.
had like the CD, like What's the Story, Morning Glory, and
Yeah.
like just like played it so many times. So we're just like sitting at this like hotel after party, like
Oh my
fancy
God.
as, just like you go talk to him, like, you go talk to him, like, don't touch him.
No. And
like-
in the end, they made me go and introduce him.
Good.
And like actually, I went up to Bono. I was like, "Hey, like nice to meet you. Like I'm from
Oh.
Communist Man, blah blah." After them making me go and do it, and then like he stood up and he's like, "Oh, like don't know if you know my friend like Noel Gallagher," and I was like,
Yes.
Yes, I do know you.
Hi,
Wow.
Noel.
Was he
But
rude or nice?
No, we went over and said like hello and like like we're from conference, so that's why we're here, kind of thing. And he was like, I effing love you guys, like. And so yeah, it turns out he was really into it as well, and like we were just getting ready for him to like punch us
thought
in
he
the
was gonna
stomach
be
and be like,
mean.
"You've destroyed music" or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
he
the funniest
was-
thing was like afterwards when we were driving to the after party, we were in like a car with Bono and Noel and then us. And then we were like playing them demos in the car and they're like our new song which is coming out soon. And like Noel was like jumping up and like dancing with Bono and then Bono was like, "No, like I told you they were the future, like blah blah blah." And we were just like, what the fuck is going on? It was so weird.
You wouldn't be surprised if in that moment the whole world folded down and it was like a set.
Punked
It
or
was like
something.
a movie and you're like, yeah, it's all set up. It's all set up because
Just
I've got
Ashton
Noel
Kutcher
Gallagher
punking us.
and Bono saying, "These guys are
And what did you cook them for dinner when they came around to your house?
Just sausages and salads.
And margaritas. They had
Yeah,
a lot of
lots of
margaritas,
nice margaritas,
actually.
yeah. Yeah.
they're rock stars."
So where to from here? What do you do?
Well,
with
Elton
that?
John played your music as well.
Oh my
Yeah,
god!
I think they're all friends.
Yeah, they must be.
think all of them-
They must
yeah.
be.
Clicky. Just
Yeah,
a clicky
yeah,
bunch.
yeah. Yeah, but we're
You're in the clique now.
supporting Noel Gallagher like in the UK and Lionel Richie.
Yeah,
Oh
Lionel Richie.
Yeah. So that's going to be pretty funny.
Wow.
I've heard that guy parties actually.
Really?
Yeah, Mum said I'm not allowed to hang out with
Lionel
him
does?
because he parties. Yeah.
All night long.
Yeah.
It'll be the party of the year.
Is that one of your songs?
That's one of their songs.
Cool party.
Yeah, you got it, man. You got it. Yeah.
But can I ask about guitars? Because you were in guitar bands. I'm wondering, you mentioned Bono and Noel. Is there a moment I can see like a rat-a-tat style moment where you guys bring out a guitar and rip out some solos in your music?
We have actually talked about, like, particularly because Sugar loves the guitar still. I just want him to bring a guitar out and then for me to grab it off him and smash it.
And like,
Flame guitar.
Yeah,
play like
Yeah.
2 notes and then smash it.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like ding, ding, and then just grabs it and like breaks it over my head.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
That'd be great.
But yeah, we haven't really figured out the perfect way to
Right.
do
Yeah, we
that.
need to do it. Maybe we could get like mini ones or something, so we can take them on tour easy.
Ukuleles.
Yeah.
Smash ukulele. That's rockstar.
That's
Well-
right.
Well, we're loving Does It Make You Feel Good? When are we looking for another single? When's the album? When is it? You
Well,
know, that
new
we have
single
those.
should be in the next few months, probably. We're still working on it. It probably has the best song title I've ever heard.
Oh,
What is it?
yes.
I can't tell you.
No,
that.
come
I can't
on.
tell you that. No, I can't.
Oh.
It'll give the whole thing away. Then you'll know
Can-
exactly what the song will sound like.
Can you
It's all
Kanye
in.
West us and give us the initials like he did for the Life of Pablo?
FCB. And that's it.
Yeah,
Oh,
3 words.
that's
great.
good.
Fun.
You like it,
Fun,
alright?
cool
I
babes.
like this.
Tom,
Fun, cool babes.
we're doing a podcast about success.
Oh,
Do you wanna
yeah.
ask these guys some questions.
So yeah, we want to ask all our guests this year about success and what it kind of means to them individually, because we've kind of found, different people have different ideas about it. What do you think is success for you guys? Where do you see your success?
It's probably a super yacht. When I have my own. I don't want to share my
Yeah.
super yacht. I don't.
Yeah. That should be our own super yachts.
Yeah.
Janet, Planet,
Yeah.
Side.
With Diamontes.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Well, obviously that is one side of success.
Yeah.
The super yacht. But then, yeah, I guess just like being able to be happy while you're in your super yacht.
Yeah.
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 Well,
it's
but
like-
you're reaching all these milestones and quite quickly as well. In 4 years, you've risen to the top and getting all these great contacts and people in your lives. That does make it hard, I guess, in a way for you to have to navigate. Hang on, when am I satisfied with stuff or what's next? Because there's always that urge for what's next, don't you think?
Yeah, I think there's also like the thing of like once you've got something, trying to like do better and better yourself, and I feel like that's probably the sad thing with pressure in music is like
Yeah.
you kind of reach a milestone and then you've kind of like got to try to maintain it.
Yeah, which is also kind
Yeah.
of nice because like you're always trying to. Doesn't get sort of boring and stagnant if you're trying to always be better.
Yeah.
It gives you like somewhere to keep going, sort of thing. But yeah, I think just the main thing is sort of we learned very quickly, like with touring and stuff, what is like way too stressful and like what we can do to make it sustainable and like keep ourselves all happy and like healthy doing it.
Yeah, because the first tour we did was like 4 or 5 months, and it was like deepest, like worst hotels you've ever seen, like doing everything so cheap.
Yeah.
And then after that, we're like, we're never doing that again.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Ever.
yeah, we learned the hard way. Like it was just
Yeah.
like everyone was just so sort of strung out and tired and just had like nothing left to give by the end of it. But
You can't really do it when you feel like that. You can't really go out and be
No,
like the happy band.
You've
you
got to
know?
look after
Yeah.
yourself. You've got to be a
Yeah.
bit of a Lady Gaga. And
Yeah.
go, I need my nail polish done this way.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
a pillow
yeah.
like this, like a pillow menu. How luxe do you go these days? Do you get a nice hotel?
Yeah, what's
Oh,
your
yeah,
rider?
we're getting
They're
a lot
bit
better
nicer,
now.
yeah. It's definitely a lot easier now, and like, just sort of one of the main things is when you have a group is as long as everyone's just like really like open and just like looking after each other, because really like when you're out there, it's just that's 4 of you or like however many there are, and like each other is like your main like support.
That's all you have.
Yeah, that's all you have pretty much.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, and also no one else really understands what it is like doing that kind of touring. Everyone can be like, I miss you, and you're like, yeah, but like, what about me? Like, I'm over here, and it sucks.
Well, you're about to hit off a huge tour all around pretty much the world, but in Australia, Fremantle, Adelaide, Melbourne, Brisbane, Sydney, confidenceman.com for tickets. The Australian tour. Does It Make You Feel Good is the single. I can't wait for FCB,
CB.
which is going to be
I'd
awesome.
love to guess it, but I've got nothing except for fun,
No, you
cool
guessed
babes.
it already.
Fun
That's
Cool
right.
Babes.
That's
I
right.
can't wait for
Babes.
the single Fun Cool Babes coming out soon. Janet Planet, Sugar Bones, thank you so much for joining us.
Cool.
All right, thanks so
Thanks,
much, guys.
guys.
Thank you.
Thanks for being in this sauna as
It's
well.
hard, yeah, it's
quite
an extra
nice.
bonus.
Free
I've been
sauna.
hotter.
Free sauna.
I've
You've
been
been hotter.
hotter.
Yeah, that's
You've been
true.
hotter, yeah. You go pretty hard.